You're watching Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. I am Tom Downey here with another mailbag answering your questions. As a reminder, there are two things you need to do if you want to be a part of a future Steelers mailbag. Number one, you got to be subscribed. Otherwise, you're just not going to have your questions featured on the show. Number two is to use hashtag Steelers in the comment section with your question or trade idea or whatever comment you want to put in. It makes life a lot easier on producer Jeremy to find your questions when you're using hashtag Steelers. Tom Downey here for Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. As you know, it is a mailbag where we answer your questions that have come into the comment section, community tab, etc. here on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. First up, from Daniel Cook. Happy 4th. This, of course, came in on the 4th of July. Happy belated 4th to you too, Daniel. Dionte is a good receiver, but not top 5 in the league. Another team will pay him more. He's either playing his last year with us or we trade him for a second rounder. I get where Daniel's coming from. Even though you're right, he's not top 5 in the league as a receiver, he's going to command top 8 money. I would be very surprised if Diontae Johnson, whether it's Pittsburgh or somewhere else, doesn't command at least upwards of $21 million per year. That's simply what the wide receiver market is trending towards. And I think you're right, Dan. I think there's a very real outcome that Johnson plays this year in Pittsburgh. Maybe he gets franchise tag, but probably not. The Steelers see how George Pickens, Calvin Austin fare this year, Chase Claypool too, and they go, yeah, we don't want to break the bank on a receiver. We'll just avoid paying Johnson, take the 3rd, 4th, whatever it is, comp pick, and continue to invest in our younger, cheaper wide receiver core of Claypool, Pickens, and Austin. Hopefully those three in whatever order continue to emerge for the Steelers. Now, if you want to be a part of the mailbags, you got to be subscribed. And we are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers here on Steelers Talk, one of the fastest growing channels for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage and among the channels here at Chat Sports. Let's keep it going. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. King Ali 144. What do you believe the Steelers' Super Bowl window may be? It's a good question. In the end, at least in terms of like a sustained window beyond the occasional Jacksonville Jags-esque run, it comes down to the quarterback spot. If you have a franchise guy, a top 15-ish quarterback, you're going to be in a Super Bowl window. Even if you're not even making the playoffs every year necessarily, even if you don't have Mahomes or a Josh Allen necessarily, you're going to be pushing and making runs for the postseason and beyond. The Steelers, as of right now, do not have that quarterback. So maybe Trubisky emerges, maybe Pickett emerges. Hopefully one of them do. I think ideally Pickett sees the first-round pick. Once and if they emerge, then your window begins. Until then, you're just aiming to sneak in the playoffs right now, if we're being honest about this Steelers team. And given Mike Tomlin, that's always a very possible outcome. So I want your predictions now, and I want you to be honest with me, because I don't think anyone's really honestly saying the answer to this question is 2022. But what year will the Steelers make the Super Bowl next? 22, 23, or even beyond? This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes on YouTube, it's perfect timing. Head down to that pinned comment and drop your year predictions. Kyle King had 2 different trade ideas. We'll break them down kind of in depth here. What would we say about a trade idea between the Seahawks and Steelers? DK and Jamal for Dionte, Terrell Edmunds, and a 2nd and 3rd, or Jamal, Penny for Terrell and a 2nd and 5th. So trade idea number 1, just to condense it down in an easier-to-read fashion. Pittsburgh gets DK Metcalf and Jamal Adams. Seattle gets Diontae Johnson, Terrell Edmunds, a 2nd and a 3rd round pick. The other idea is the Steelers get Jamal Adams and Rashad Penny. The Seahawks get Terrell Edmunds, a 2nd and a 5th round pick. To be blunt, Kyle, I say yes. The Seahawks say hell no, and they block your number in the process. The second offer is a little bit better, but that first offer would never work for Seattle. They're not trading away one of their best young defensive pieces and their best young offensive pieces for a lesser receiver, a far lesser safety, and some latest draft, a 2nd and 3rd round draft pick. Like, you got to begin that conversation with a 1, if not 2 1s. The DK Metcalf trade value alone is a 1st and a 3rd. Diontae Johnson and Terrell Edmunds do not cover the gap there. So I will argue actually that the Steelers are getting the 2 best assets in that trade, Metcalf and Adams. Maybe you'd argue Johnson over Adams, but it's at least first and third asset value. So I don't see any scenario in which Seattle says yes to that deal. Yeah, they'd save some money with Jamal and Metcalf, but both guys, age-wise, do still fit their rebuilding timeline. I want you guys now to name a player who you want the Steelers to trade for. It could be a DK Metcalf or a Jamal Adams, etc. But who do you want Pittsburgh to go out and acquire? Drop that name or names for me in the comment section. Great username here, Infinity Stones. If Mitchell Trubisky balls out this year, could we trade Kenny Pickett? I do think that Trubisky balling out is an ideal outcome for Pittsburgh because you got good quarterback play. It is very difficult for me, though, to see the Steelers going, Trubisky, one more year left on his deal, big-time year. We should trade our first-round pick. I don't see them going that route. I think it'd be a lot more likely that Pittsburgh would actually shop Trubisky in that scenario, unless they are at the practices and they see Kenny Pickett is just not it. If they go, he's not our guy, he's bad. In that scenario, sure. But I do still think even if Trubisky plays great, the Steelers are still going to view Pickett as their franchise guy long term. So of the two quarterbacks, sorry, Mason Rudolph, but let's be real here, who starts more games this year? Type in MT for Mitchell Trubisky or type in KP for Kenny Pickett. I think I'm going to lean towards Pickett myself, but let me know what you think in the comments section. From Jake Scott, could Tomlin's streak of non-losing seasons come to an end? At some point, it's got to be snapped, right? Like Mike Tomlin's stretch in his career over Pittsburgh of never having a non-losing season since he took over as the head coach in 2007 is absolutely remarkable. But all streaks are made to be broken. And of all the years, even including last year where it kind of like it might be the year, this one makes sense as a possible streak breaker because of the uncertainty at the quarterback position. Now, I think I speak for almost everyone watching when I say don't doubt Mike Tomlin, and the defense is going to be really good. And if they played in the NFC, they'd probably be one of the top 6 teams. But in the loaded AFC, it's just going to be a gauntlet. So it's going to be close. They'll be around 500. That's what they do at minimum under Mike Tomlin. But I would not be surprised if the streak gets broken this year. Now, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. And if you want to keep the non-losing streak going in Pittsburgh, like the video. You don't want to be the one who didn't like the video, and then the Steelers only win 7 games, and everyone goes, it's your fault. So like the video right now. Dave P. had no question, just simply said, here we go, baby. I appreciate Dave's comment / just, all the things there. I appreciate everyone who makes it to the end of these videos. So if you want to shout like we just gave Dave, keep it going. Type here we go in the comments section to show you made it to the end of today's video. And while you're down there typing in your here we goes, if you have questions, take advantage of the video wrapping up. Throw them in the comments section. And if you're lucky, producer Jeremy will pick one of them for you here on Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. Remember to be subscribed and use hashtag Steelers in the comments section.